I'm just saying, and the fact that this is for like control of the system, it has never occurred to them to change the rules. I mean, this is, you know what this actually tells me? This tells me that the system is shit.
I know, right?
Because if there wasn't, somebody would have come along by now. Because this is on a giant cavalcade route, and everybody knows about this.
Mm-hmm.
If there was something worthwhile here to have, outsiders would have come in big old
And
teams to,
in the game.
yeah, to take the game. There's no like giant conglomerate of outsider teams vying to win
Mm-hmm.
the system because the system must not be worth anything.
That, or maybe, I guess, like, in some logical terms, there's only so many people you can crowd around the board before it isn't helpful.
Well, if we're all crowding around one giant board, what, 8 different teams?
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, and you've brought like 6 people, and there's been no so far clarification about you guys having a problem fitting around it. Also,
Yeah.
you have really short players in the front, really tall players right behind them. Also,
You have
there
your
are
players stacked for height.
there's
So,
jetpacks exist in the game. They can fly over the board.
oh
We
god.
demand to have tiered seating for our team.
There are
We can all see the board.
there are species that hover. I'm just saying.
Like me.
Yeah, me too. I'm just saying that. Yeah, space around the board, not a big deal.
I guess fun flavor question. So at this point, I've gone ahead and said,
Yeah.
like, Mythland has like butterfly soldiers, because what kind of things are you two morphing? What kind of, like, what is Nefiru contributing and her ally? What's Jaimin creating?
I just assumed that if you guys were on a team, you all had, one unified thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you would think that.
You'd have
However,
I, in
mixes.
fact, said so.
yes, but depending on the person handling those creatures, you imprint differently on them, and that's why in the Board of Origins, presence is important, and that's why it's a role, because you're actually influencing what these little creatures become when you place them on the board.
Fair question. Actually, maybe Psyche would help out with that.
Too late
This is
now. I was
definitely to
eliminated.
Jaimin's.
So fuck you. Thank you for bringing it up around 2.
I'm just saying that it would make sense.
Don't-
But however it is, still, I'm definitely imprinting heavily on this. So what does Nefiru end up creating?
Well, if presence is the important ability, then it's actually the Elden Rainbow Yvonne Gawk. And so it's little mushroom guys that she's controlling.
Oh, sweet, little mobile mushrooms.
Yeah, just a bunch of Von Cox around here.
Yep. And now I'm just waiting to see how badly I trounce these middle schoolers. Oh wait, no, we're in the high schooler bracket now.
You're in the high school bracket now.
You're in
You're
the
moving your way.
category of anime protagonists that you can't really tell if they're supposed to be 18 or if they're just really well developed.
That's the category you found yourself
Once
in.
you get to the real life version, they're played by 30-year-olds pretending to be 16-year-olds.
All right,
Right
so
now.
here are the 3 opponents and how well they do. You see there's a variety of creatures, some that form out into all tentacle monsters, and some
Mm-hmm.
that look like they're even creating creatures to use to take advantage of the like water sections of the board.
Right. Just for subversive tactics are appearing. It looks like I still got the most successes out of that crew.
Yeah,
Um,
how many successes do you have?
5. And I'm tied for the highest, 10 for 10, from my true leader.
All right, there's 2 on this one, and he'll get the free +1. The second person gets 2 successes. The third person gets 3 successes. And Griffin, you've got the 5, and then you're
And
tied
the
for
10.
the
Yep,
so
tied.
you get the 2 free. And Theta, how did you do?
I was eliminated in the last round. Don't you remember?
No, you still get to play.
It's not single elimination, it's like MMR.
I don't know what MMR is, by the way.
Matchmaking rating.
Matchmaking rating.
You're
So,
you're
like, they take
evaluated based on your placement, your wins and losses, not necessarily strictly like you lost once and you're out forever.
I assume that's what it was. Anyway, 2 successes, one's an 11.
Oh, you actually swipe
Ooh.
out the free one from everyone.
You swipe the free one from everyone. So you get 2 and a free one to spend. What would you like to spend your free one on?
Adapting tactics.
Okay.
Let's see. So far, I'm going to, of course, go ahead and spend the free one on decreasing fatigue to 2, because that's always good. I'm going to get the D12 for later on, because that's always good.
By the way, adapting
Um,
tactics is 2 successes, so I've only got 1 victory point.
mhm.
Okay.
And I think I want to go ahead and check out. Ooh, these guys are actually all rolling D12s now. That's actually very scary. Uh, D- if I increase it, I just increase it for 1.
That's correct.
Yeah, so which one of these guys actually succeeded the most? I think opponent 3 has the most successes right now. So I'm going to
Yep.
make their fatigue check harder and increase it to 4.
Okay. They have spent 1 to get opponent number 3 spent 1 to get a D12 in round 3, and player 1 spent both of theirs to get uh, minor board success to get D12s in round 3.
Mhm. All right. So now comes the fatigue phase.
So now comes the fatigue phase. So you just need it's versus 3, so 4s are better, and you need 1 success.
Versus 2, because I reduced it.
Versus 2, so 3s are better. Will give you success.
Oh, that body never fails me. That's the
All
third
right.
4 in a row, which I know
You've
isn't
got
a
a
lot, but it's the hardest a D4 can roll.
you got a pretty good body.
Who knew
Stone
the
body.
rock could even get exhausted, really? So far it looks like Team Mytholand doing pretty good here.
Go figure. Fucking cheaters.
It's okay, if you pull out the win on us, you get to gloat
It's
in our
literally
face.
impossible. Did you not realize again where you scored 3 times the score of the second place
Yes,
person?
but actually having you here means that if you wanted to throw the game in our favor.
I went
Be
4th
much
place.
easier.
I'm competing on the level of these people. You guys are a team of 4 to 5 players
It actually only gives me like 2 or 3 extra dice at best.
at the
So
same time, though.
here are their rolls for fatigues. Player number 3 needs to get 5 or betters,
Mm-hmm.
and he got 1 success with a 6.
Okay, so he made it out.
1 6. All 3 of them made it through the round for this fatigue. They're okay with it.
Okay. Well, was
So once
worth the
again,
shot.
the board begins to change. We've got you forming butterfly soldiers. We've got mushroom men. But those are coming from the doctor. What would Neferu be doing as well? Because you are still aiding, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What would your influence be?
Hmm. Well, I guess having some little Trudons on the field wouldn't hurt.
All right, you're starting to create more of. Maybe they're even starting to look like you.
We got a very jungly vibe going on here.
Very jungly vibe. So moving on to the second round. Let's see some assists. This is where we start getting more negotiations and craft with your tactics, starting to make deals with other people, starting to form some alliances with these high schoolers, or maybe not, maybe ignoring them.
All right, G-Min actually not unlikable to the high schoolers.
Wow, yeah, that's looks like 3 successes.
Yeah, high schoolers love it when you talk academics at them.
Oh,
Everyone's
tell me
going, "You're
more.
so cool, you know all the rules to the game. Can you tell me how to do my D&D wizard too?" We're doing they're 3.5. There's a lot of rules here.
Well, I mean, while you guys are rolling, I'll describe what my figures look like.
Go for it.
Yeah, let's hear 'em.
You actually can't see them. They're emitted in gamma rays. They're actually lethal to look at. They're invisible unless you can see in the gamma ray spectrum of light. But
Interesting.
if you can, they're dangerous to look at. So
Ooh.
when your figures disappear from the board because I've taken them out, you don't
I
even see
imagine
it.
since this is like holographic and all, they probably have some safety constraint that they're not going to irradiate the audience, but they probably give it that tag anyway, right?
Their king is decided by this. You're saying there's safety measures, but you remember how many times Yu-Gi-Oh almost died at a card game?
That's true, but I don't expect anything from a
I
children's
send
card
you
game.
to the Shadow Realm.
Wait, is that a legal maneuver? Ah!
Cartoon Wide Eyes Black Dragon. That's
Is this
right.
what Mytholin's doing? This is the heart of the cards and the power of friendship right here. I just top deck with Nefiru.
Yeah, because again, it's entirely illegal to have 5 different sets of hands on your cards.
That's what they did in the first episode. They all drew on it and drew together.
I think you mean episode 0, where he gets
Yeah.
thrown on top of a clock tower.
All
Is this
right.
actual Yu-Gi-Oh?
Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh!
It
Episode
is.
0 is based on the more hardcore comic or manga.
I think season 0 as well.
Yeah.
I didn't know you could have a season 0.
Yeah, you
It
can when you
drastically takes a left turn into exactly one game. It's
Yeah.
very strange.
you can have a season 0 when you decide to restyle your entire show.
Name of this episode, let's talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! Some more.
I used to have Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I remember that.
I got them right here still.
We know.
All right, so I'm just waiting to see how they do before I start posting up. I have 4
Yeah.
successes,
All right, here are their rolls.
and my highest is an 8, which actually outclasses Jaimin here. But they're rolling D12s, it
You
seems.
trying to
which
flex on me, despite the fact that I keep bitching about the fact you're still 5
I'm not-
players?
I'm just going off the information I'm seeing right now. I'm just like,
I
all
mean,
right,
I'm
Jaimin didn't
gonna have
D12 me.
I'm gonna have 2 victory points this round. That's all I'm gonna have. Because I'm gonna spend 2 to adaptive tactics again, and I'm gonna be left with 1 to add to my previous one, which is that one. And if you remove the one I got this round, it turns into that.
Yeah. Here it looks like there's multi-way ties.
That was a
The
gimmick for the
second
camera
player-
watchers.
or the first player seems to be extra. He seems to be really take over in this round, and you see him taking a lot of gambles out on the field to try to gain more positioning for the third round. He's focusing more on the board than on all of you. He had he is a gambler, so that added some a bonus to the board of form. So he's taking risks. It looks like we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 successes from opponent 1. Opponent 2 has only 1 success, and opponent 3 has 3 successes with a high of 8.
Yep, which ties with me, and I also tie for the most as well.
Because you had 4.
Yeah, 4 and an 8.
All right, so that's a tie for the most and for the highest. So you will still get the bonus 2, but their +1s are spread out.
All right, so I'm going to say the free ones will spend towards decreasing fatigue again to versus 2 and minor board success for an extra 1d8 next round.
Okay.
And now I got to consider, and am I going to spend this to, say, make it harder for somebody to get by the fatigue check next round, or make it easier for us? We're not using adapting tactics much because we're pretty good as is, honestly.
You have most of the skills out there on your team.
Yeah. I'm going to actually go ahead and sacrifice 2 victory points here. And I'm going to go ahead and say I'm going to increase fatigue by 1 to the other opponent that has the highest number of successes right now, which I think might be 3.
So it would be 3's doing really well, and so is number 1.
Yeah, what are they at? I'm at 5 after I spend.
They are at 5 and 4.
Okay.
Opponent 3 is at 5, and opponent 1 is at 4.
And I think one of them is spent to have a D12 later. That's still number 3, I think, right?
The both of them will.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and try to handicap number 1.
Okay.
So this is what my round 2 looks like.
All right. And did you say you're spending 2 to increase the success requirement, like so that they need another success, or
Yes,
to
another
increase the speed?
success.
Okay.
So now they're
So
gonna
they
have
will
to
need
go for
3
3.
successes. All right, to get their tactics bonus. So
Oh, here's gonna be
they're both spending their free ones to get 1d8s in round uh in the next round.
mhm.
And player 1, he's actually going to gamble and spend he'll spend 1 to decrease his fatigue check to a versus 2.
Okay. Pretty good option.
And player 3 is going to actually player 2 is going to he's going to decrease your or increase your fatigue check of you by 1.
Okay, so we go down to 2, go back up to 3 then.
Yes.
Okay.
He's going to
So
try to sacrifice himself. You see the other him kind of them all the 3 people really competing against you kind of look at each other, and the one who's doing well kind of slump his shoulders and uh starts. He's almost like he's being bullied to do this against you guys.
mhm. So in that case, I think I only have 1 success and I needed to get 2, correct?
That is correct.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and tap my personality to stay in the game. I can't believe these people are doing this for their lives. I'm gonna break them out of this, and I gotta win this. So that's 2 for me. So I get to keep using my tactics, and I get all of our bonuses.
And Lisk is just out of it.
Yeah, Lisk isn't involved in the next one anyway, but he's a little tired
No,
because he
well,
can't ever make 2.
I assumed you rolled it for a reason.
Yeah, I just have it here in the macros. I just keep copy pasting it.
Number
It's
1
important
and
to know
number
how
3.
tired Lisk is. You know, he needs like a hug afterwards.
Number 1 and number 3 have passed their final round checks.
Number 1 didn't because he needed 3 successes.
He needed. Oh, he did need 3 successes, so he failed. Yes, that's correct.
In which case,
Right, yeah, right. I forgot that he needed 3. So the only one that does pass is the third person.
very interesting. So a lot of people are out of tactics bonuses there.
Yeah, that does take a lot. That takes basically all the tactics bonus from the first player.
And then I'm going to get both a bonus D8 and a bonus D12. So Nefiru, I guess we have our last deceit, fighting, and tactics here to check out. Looks pretty good right there. Chime in, popping in with the 12.
Ooh.
And wow, I
Ooh.
got a lot of 1s over here today.
Not looking good.
That is just 1. Ouch. Yeah, that just comes down to some very terrible luck suddenly for me.
So I think that'll put you at 11.
Let's see. I was at 5,
Oh, you were at 5. So
so I go up to 7 victory points.
7 victory points. Oof. Not quite the first commanding show.
Yeah, round 3 is doubled, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
So I was at 2. I have 4. So that's 8, 10. I've got the highest with a 12. Is that doubled or is that not doubled?
That is not doubled.
So 11. Do I have the most successes at 4 or do I not? Probably
I
not.
think you do have the most successes at 4.
So 12 points. It's 12 victory points.
All right, so you got 12 victory points. That, I think, might win it. Yes. So in first place, we have Jaimin with 11. In second,
12.
tied for second place, or with 12, sorry. Tied for second place is 2 players. And in third place is one of the other high schoolers. And in last place Griffin.
Wah wah. Yeah, that last roll
However,
just came out to like look at it.
all those ones, but
And then
speaking of
2s and
one,
3s, yeah. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different dice failed.
there's a chance of failing that last body check and passing out from fatigue at the last one. Can I have that?
Oh, you wanted
We
to
need
see if, like, at the
one
end of the...
more fatigue check.
Oh, okay. I thought we were just mitigating that because this is the end of the game. Well, let's do it.
If you don't botch it, then the game stands. But if you, essentially if you botch
Lisk is
it,
out.
then yeah,
Yeah, Lisk passes out.
Lisk
As
was
expected.
tired. He was kind of sitting down already, and he was
He's
like,
been
"Oh."
napping out on the
oh,
couch for the last
oh."
12 hours, honestly, for this last phase.
And then he stood up. He got a head rush and then passed out.
What does the rulebook give you, by the way? What kind of bonus is that?
A D4
It gives you a D4.
for the fatigue.
Oh, just for fatigue?
It also
It
gives me a
gives you a
D10
D4
on
for
all
fatigue.
phases.
Yep.
Seriously, you're bogarting that shit.
It's basically what everyone else has as like a gift.
Don't make me fling. I'll bring my psyche into this by flinging that rulebook out of your hands and drag it to me. You got enough bonuses. Help me out.
So
You
this
did
is
just win, though.
interesting. So we have 2 games in, and both of us have a first place and a fourth place. Everyone is now very much confused and scratching their head, I think.
People are very confused by the results of these games. Your match. Well, actually, Jaimin didn't get last time. He did get third.
Fourth.
Oh, yeah,
I
that's
got
good.
fourth.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, right. There's 5 people. You got fourth.
I mean, technically, it's still not last. Also, give me the rulebook.
4.
I'm serious. Give me the fucking rulebook. You've got 5 people helping you. Give me the goddamn rulebook.
No, it's mine. I love it.
I will rip it out of your arms with the power of the gods.
No.
I'd probably give it to him. I'm the one who found it, so.
Can we actually have some time in between games. Is it possible to copy that book? Or is there like copy protection on it?
There is copy protection on it.
No. I would ask, like, what does it take to beat that copy protection? But here, have the book. You don't use tactics anyway. You don't need the fatigue bonus.
I don't need the fatigue bonus, but I mean, at the same time, this is a D10 bonus you just said.
Yeah.
Do I
Alright.
need to roll my personality for this endurance roll for only getting 1 success?
No, you're fine. As long as you don't glitch the last one, then everything's fine. You don't the stress of that last round doesn't get to you and take you out of the game. Because if you get taken out in that last round by a botch, then that's when you're out. Like
Right,
you're
so
even if you have the most victory points, you didn't make it through their game.
Alright. So I guess at least day 2, get together. Well, I guess splitting up was actually a really good idea because I would have just flubbed it completely there. Here you go, Jaimin. Here's the book. You can have it.
How went that investigation into finding a different way onto the planet?
Well, at the very least, we are still technically going up in rank.
Yeah,
And that
ironic
at least-
that your team of 5 has the same score at the end of the day as my team of 1.
Yeah. No one's going
That's
up to
true.
that planet for at least another month, and we're going to have a big break.
Well.
Once this first preliminary set of games is done, we should have access to basically anyone we want.
That's ironic. A couple of days, I'd be able to teleport through walls at super long range. And I could just teleport in there and get what we need and leave. But I see
Right.
that you've explored all viable options on how to get there and back again, other than, I don't know, joining the game. And just
I'll trust you
decided.
I'll trust you to go wall to wall. I don't think you can go planet to planet yet, though.
You can jump from planet to planet using your personal
No, he
teleportation.
can't.
Technically, I can, actually. Griff is wrong about that.
Oh, how much do you need for that?
10 XP. It's a gift
No, I
called
mean, how?
Rondo Return. I mean, I can't go to a place I haven't been to before, but
That's what I'm
still,
talking about. We
no,
gotta get there.
no. Technically, you said I can't go planet to planet. Technically, I could jump back to the last planet we were at if I wanted to and had the gift.
Can you take the rest of us with you?
Technically I could, but that would be another gift expenditure.
Right.
Because there's a
It might take a
thing,
little bit.
yeah, there's a thing where I can take added weight with me, and other
Mhm.
people are added
Ah,
weight.
Uh, so I guess day 2. How are the spiders doing? How are the racks doing?
you have heard the spiders have won both their games.
Interesting. Is there a little time to maybe do some investigation onto why they won?
Yeah, there is. So I'll say that it's like there you've got like a day or two,
Hmm.
especially since you're foreigners. They give you these cushions of time between your preliminary games,
Yeah.
just so that you don't. They're concerned you'll die from the exhaustion and the exertion of these games. So yeah, you can totally uh, you you can
Let's
totally
look.
investigate the racks.
All right, let's roll some questioning. I'm
Yeah,
good
roll
at
perception.
talking with people, so here we go. I'm not really that great at talking with people today, apparently. Let me see. Do I have a specialty in questioning? To do questioning. Yes, I do. Common folk. Would that count here?
Yeah, that I'm going to
Okay.
say no, it's actually not going to count because
Okay.
these small games don't have a lot of common folk presence because these ones aren't being broadcast. These are ones that if you want to see it, you actually have to go and show up to it.
Okay. So in that case, Nafira will actually give me a D8 assist die then. So 2 successes.
Okay. So with two successes, you've heard there are actually three racks teams. Each of
Hmm.
these racks teams have groups of two, and one of them is struggling. One of them has lost both of their games. Um, you hear some sort of commotion in which uh, the racks got tired of it and tried to win through violence, and it did not work. Uh,
Right.
with the other two, though, they seem to have been surprisingly middling games where
Hmm.
they both have gotten high enough where they seem to be advancing, but none of them are stunning, if that makes any sense.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And I guess in terms of gossip, is there anything suspicious about them? I.e., like, are these actually the people who we're up against trying to get the key? They don't seem to have any of those weird influences or connections, or like they disappear and just show up for the next game. No one knows who they are or where they're coming from.
That sounds about right. It does
There you go.
sound like they are because it sounds like they showed up and signed up very the day before signups were to end,
Hmm.
and they show up for their games and then they leave.
So one of them's been kicked out. I'm not sure anyone would really notice if we paid them a visit. What do you think, Nefiru?
I'm not sure what that would accomplish, but I'm willing.
Well, I guess it's mostly the question whether or not they have an alternate way or if they are just completely given up and invested in this. Because if they have an alternate way, we clearly want to cut them off at the pass. If this is the only way, then we may as well just keep playing the game because they don't seem to think that there's anything better.
All right.
Okay. In that case, I think I know who I'm going to have be my assistants today. They're going to be assassins.
Ooh.
I'm going to go with 3 assassins.
Okay.
And I think I wanted them to be birds. Adhilians. And Adhilians mean that they get fighting, which mean that they will threaten with their switchblades even more.
Okay.
Adhilian, fighting, observation, transport, and Adhilian tail, and winged flight. So a small team of flying assassins, Nefiru and myself, And hey, chime in. Are you interested in going harassing some spiders and seeing what their plans are? Or
No.
do you think it would be better if you stayed out of this?
Stayed out of it. I mean, I don't want to be disqualified for interrupting other people's.
Well, technically, it's not in the middle of the game. This is just a normal crime.
Right. And I believe there's rules lawyers who specifically look into these sorts of things.
Well, we're gonna go beat him up anyway.
I'm pretty sure there's got to be rules against, taking other competitors out of the game by killing them or disrupting their ability to play the game.
Well, these ones that we're going after have actually already been kicked out of the game because they resorted to violence.
So you're
They
telling
didn't
me
get
that
kicked out of
people
the
get
game.
kicked out of the game for resorting to
They didn't get
violence.
kicked out of the game. They just lost that particular game.
Right. In which case, still, we're looking to ambush them. And I don't think we're looking to get into a full fight, but we are looking to basically corner them and get some answers out of them. Would you say something like a roll of tactics dice, where Nefira and I work together to try to corner them, would work?
Yeah, I'll say that that could work to try to corner these guys into an ambush where you have a favorable position, maybe trapping them in an alley of some kind.
Mm-hmm.
So mind and tactics.
That sounds
Yeah.
about right. And what did you have for mind and tactics again?
2d6 d8.
268. So basically the same as me. So either way we assist, we're good. So go ahead, roll, and I'll add an extra d8.
Wait for your roll to see if I get the assist.
Okay. There you go. You get an assist.
That one.
Technically. That is 2 successes.
Yeah, so I'll say you guys managed to you find out whereabouts they are in the city, and it's not the perfect spot. It's an intersection of three roads. One's a little bit less used. It's kind of and you managed to corner them there, kind of by hiding in the alleyway and stationing some people in either direction.
Right. We have like some high flyers so they could just sit up on a rooftop, and if they go anywhere, they can climb, but they can't escape the flyer.
Exactly. So they're just walking on their own until you step out. They both stop and look around, observing all of you as you emerge, and they
And
just
of
watch.
course, I'm stepping out. I've just got like, a random pipe or something, and I'm just tapping it aggressively at them. And it's like, I think it's time we have a little talk. And I'm basically trying to scare them into submission here.
Okay, give me one of your intimidation rolls.
All right. So this is body, will, presence, and my outfit because I'm wearing a scary outfit.
A very scary outfit. All those things jutting out.
I don't think I have guts yet, unfortunately, which maybe I should consider getting at this point.
What would
Uh,
guts do for you?
Give me an extra d12 to scare and to resist being scared.
Also, he could climb the aggro crag.
Yeah.
Yeah, what?
Guts, do you have it?
All right. So I have an 8 versus them.
Right.
And technically 2 successes unless they roll really well. So they are also rolling similar body, will, and presence.
Oh, that's a high of a 6, and
Well, sure is.
another high of a 6.
All right then. So technically they are afraid. They aren't necessarily horribly terrified.
Yeah, so
But
they
they are
kind of
cowed
take
for
a
now.
step. Yeah, they take a they take a step back, and you see their hands are staying away from any spots that visible weapons, or even like spots where there might be weapons hidden on their bodies,
Hmm.
and they both uh, or one of them will say, "What what do you want from us?"
We know why your master sent you here. Tell us what you know. What are you up to?
I know nothing. We were merely sent here to play the game.
That's it. That's the best all of you came up with.
Yes.
And at this point, I'm basically grilling and questioning them. I'm trying to get to the bottom of the matter and make sure that, yeah, this is actually true. That is the best that they've can't come up with. And that's all that they're really planning on doing.
We are, we have failed. We have not reached a sufficient match rating. They look at each other. We doubt we will get high enough to place in the finals. That is our goal.
And what then? What if you all fail? And you don't get high enough? That it? 6 years later, you try again?
We have been told just to this once is our only opportunity. We have never played before.
I see.
We were
Keep
just
your
commissioned to win the game so that we could take our party to the finals.
So wait, you're even lower rung? You're not even a part of the group. They just hired you out.
No, we were just contracted for our skills, thinking that our skills might be sufficient for this game. You'll kind of spit out a little bit of webbing on the ground. But these damn dwarf-like things, they're impossible to beat.
They just play for hours, right? I don't think they do anything else in their spare time.
Racks were not meant for this activity.
I'll be honest, I don't think I was meant for it either, but... Alright. Since you're not actually fully trained assassins or anything, I'm gonna let you off with a little warning. Stay the hell out of the game.
Or
Or what do you think? And I'm just gonna tap the pipe again.
yes. You have made your point very clear.
Good. I'm glad we could come to such a mutual agreement. Now get out of here.
They scamper off.
Okay. And at this point, I'm gonna say, like my regulars, an assassin will shadow each of the teams. They're not gonna do anything. They're just gonna follow them, and if they see anything, whatever.
Okay.
Okay.
So is there anything else you would like to do in this kind of downtime? We'll say you have 3 days.
Good question. We're not getting any
You
prize
yeah.
money, are we?
No, you're not.
Ah. Still really short on that money. Huh.
But at the end of that first day, after you followed them, you hear from your assassins that those two racks skipped town. They actually, in fact, found a shuttle that would take them out to any ship that had a rondo drive, and it sounds like they took one.
Okay, so right now, then I have one assassin following team one assassin following team two of theirs, and another one that's just going to be on guard for me. They do
Okay,
have observations, so if someone tries to do something weird to me, I'll catch it.
that's
That's
very
the hope.
true. So you enter the third game, and now you're really noticing that the crowds are starting to come out. You have an almost packed group up in the fan section of these old buildings, and you even spot up there what looks to be racks watching you from probably the highest row in the back, enshrouded in shadows,
Yeah,
looking
that the
ominous
other
and
team,
sinister.
basically? Yeah,
You just see one, but they appear to be
yeah.
watching.
Okay. Well, I guess time to put on a performance then. So I no longer have the book. This is going to be tougher, But let's see how it goes, I guess. Nefiro, you want to open up with the assist?
All right, let me just check the dice roll. I'm sorry I didn't make macros like you did.
It's okay. I basically did this at the last second.
That's totally fine.
So presence, academics, and tactics.
Yes, Presence Academics Tactics is the first one.
Yep.
Chime in, popping in with the 10. Oh gosh, I only have 2 dice on the endurance test now. Save me. Chime in's in the position I was considering being in, rolling 2d4 in the first place. Uh, gosh, that's gonna be terrible. So it looks like that is in fact 2 assists. That's good. And let's see what happens. That is 1, 2, 3 for me, and I tie on a 10.
All right. With the 3 opponents you have here, there is opponent 1, opponent 2, and opponent 3. You've moved up from the high school realm, and these ones, you see one of them probably looks to be probably a high schooler as well.
Mm-hmm.
But they look to be about all that same skill level, maybe just a little bit higher than before. We've got 3 successes,
Yeah.
3 successes, and 3 successes from them.
So I've tied with 3 successes with all of them, and I've also tied for the highest roll as well.
Yeah,
Uh,
three-way tie for
that
the
is
highest roll.
a 3-way tie for the highest roll. All right, so that's awarded to all those who rolled the highest.
Okay. And then let's see what I'm going to spend those 2 on.
So that gives me 2 points.
Because you had 3 successes.
I have 1 success, and then I have tied for top.
A tie.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
I
so
have
that
2.
gives you 2.
So I spend both of those on adapting tactics.
Okay.
Okay. And I think I'm going to keep doing what I've been doing. I'm going to go for the D12 in round 3, and I'm going to fatigue versus 2 for the free ones. And I will just save again, because I only rolled 3 anyway.
All right. One of them is spending 2 dice, or 1 bonus to get a D12 on the next one, and one of them is spending 1 to decrease their fatigue down to a. Actually, no, he's not. He's just going to get a D8 in the next round.
Yeah, these guys are endurance monsters. I don't see why they would spend it on that until they had
No.
to.
1
success on 4 dice is nothing.
Yeah. They've spent all their free points. They didn't spend any of their actual.
Gosh, meanwhile, we're the most out of shape nerds possible, except Nefiru.
Let me be fair, my shape can be formed.
That is true.
Erosion Man is a bitch.
Alright, good thing I went ahead and did that. I'm good, so is Lisk. Not that Lisk is contributing tactics, but I like to see how he's doing. Oh, right, he doesn't
like
need
to
to
see
not
how he's
faint.
doing.
He has only 1 dice. And Nefiru doing pretty good too. Jaimin exists.
Yep. They are all doing good on all 3 of their fatigue checks.
Okay. So, butterflies out on the board, raptors, and mushrooms. Time to go ahead and start forming alliances.
See how everyone's doing. Negotiate.
Right, so we
5
got Lisk.
successes.
Ooh, I think you beat all of them.
I mean, I've only gone in round 2 with 0 points, so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is also true. We've got a high of 8. Well, the high of 10 with the Jimin on the second round.
Ooh, not coming in clutch this time, Nefiru.
Oof.
I was gonna say favored use of tactics, but I don't think it's gonna be the game of games, is it?
The game of games.
Well, I don't have a favorite use of tactics just yet.
If you really wanted to, you could. You don't have to, of course. There's also negotiation. That's only a d6.
That's versus underworld types.
Oh yeah, so
Yeah, you
you
already
actually
got
have a
that.
use for that already.
Mm-hmm. So sounds like he's not rolling anymore, so it's just down to you, Mithrlin.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead, take off Nefurio's assist here. And still looking at a bunch of ones. That's gonna be 1 and 2 successes this time around.
It looks like
This
3,
gets
right?
really coming in with that assist, but it only helps so much.
Isn't that a 12?
No, that's his roll to make sure that he
Oh,
assists.
that's
So
an
he
8
rolled
and
an
a
8
4.
and a
Oh,
4.
okay.
So he does assist and
Okay.
rolls the 4. So
Okay.
taking a
So
look at
they've got 3 victory points, 4 victory points, and 1 victory point. So it looks like Jaimin gets the most, a bonus one for the most, and a bonus one for the highest. I assume you're spending both of those for adapting tactics.
Right.
All right. And then you get to spend. Is anyone else going to spend anything more?
Ooh, I feel like decreasing the fatigue for our team really matters, but we also only technically have 2 points to spend, I believe. As we're spending successes, not stored victory points. And I don't
Yes,
have
that's
anything
correct.
brief this time either. I do need to succeed on that fatigue. Versus 2 is probably the best I can do, but if someone bups it up to, like, I need 3 successes, I can't do that.
They are
Um,
going to. They are spending. Each one of them is spending 1 to get an extra bonus dice on the next board. They're all having success on the minor boards. Maybe it's that
mhm.
veterancy. And so what that minor, but by the way, what it is for minor board is it's not saying minor as in you're having success on this board, but there's like nebulous other games going on the side where you've got a card game or a little things that help alter the board state.
Take your deck, shuffle it, and play a new game with that deck. Yeah.
Exactly.
So a lot of
Games within
skirmishes.
games. It's
I
like you guys are all playing an RPG, and then inside that RPG, you found a world that's got games on it, and you're playing that game in the game of games.
exactly. Oh, it's infinitely recursive. We're stuck forever. All right, I'm gonna spend 1 of the victory points then to reduce fatigue to 2 to
Okay.
versus 2. So that'll help out a little bit. Might not actually make this, which would be unfortunate. So here's my fatigue.
Oh, Lisk is out.
Yeah, Lisk,
Lisk is
bye Lisk. Take your nap.
Lisk is just really bad at it. He makes
He's
it to the
really
first
adapting to
round
the
and then
schedule. He does like his 12-hour shift and then he just goes to sleep for 12 hours.
he knows he can fall asleep in it.
Yeah, this round didn't really matter for him anyway. Um, because I reduced it to 2, I do actually succeed, and I will have all my tactics for the next round.
Awesome. It looks like Neferu succeeds as well. And we've got 2 successes, 2 successes, 2 successes from each of these opponents who are used to this struggle.
Hmm.
And we enter the final phase. Coming in with victory points, we've got opponent with 5, opponent number 2 with 6, and opponent number 3 with 3. I believe.
Man, how did I get 12 on the first one by round 2? I just
Yeah.
succeeded every single roll, I think.
Yeah. How many points do you guys have coming into round 3?
4.
5.
All right. So
So,
it's pretty tight.
yeah, so the last round ends up being the bounce round. And I do have the bonus d12. Nefiro, I'd love to see your assist. Oh, you have the doctor assisting too.
Yeah, I
Yes.
forgot that
Definitely.
pushers get to see, so now she's helping.
Mm-hmm. All right. So it looks like you both succeeded. That's good. So let's go ahead and do the roll.
And while you're doing that, I have acute kidney dysfunction. I'm
That's
gonna
fine.
get
Acute
back.
kitty dysfunction.
So
I'm
1,
gonna
2,
explain why I go pee
3,
all the time.
4, 5, and 6. So that is an extra 12
Oh,
points.
I thought he said cute kitty, like he had a cute cat that he was gonna go
I'm
pet.
also tossing personality on this one, just for all the beans.
Ooh, just for the
1, 2,
extra
3,
being.
4, 5, 6, 7. So that is an extra 14 on top of the 4.
Ooh,
Round 3, victory points 18. And we of course do have that last endurance check to not botch,
all right. So I'm making that last.
which I guess means we don't need to spend or worry anything about it.
No, yeah, it's just if you botch. So opponent 1 got 1, 2, 3, 4 successes for 8. Opponent 2 has 1, 2, 3 successes with a high of 10, but your personality already beat that. And opponent number 3
Oh.
clutched with 8.
Oh, I
So
guess
that'll
in the
be
last round, do
13.
those 2 free victory points actually count for anything?
They do, but they don't get doubled. They're
Okay,
just
so
still
that is
added for +1.
yeah. So I believe I got both of them then.
Yeah, because you had an 11 and you've got yeah, you had 7 successes. So yeah.
So that comes out to round 3, 20 victory points, and now I just have to not pass out again. Hey, Liz, how's
And
that couch? All right,
and
I didn't
Jamin, you got
botch.
13. All right, so there was no botches. You guys make it through that final phase, and this round it's tense. Going into finishing the second round, you felt like everyone was at a fairly equal power state, and maybe it's your foreign expertise, but you managed to pull it out, taking first place with 20 victory points. In second place, tied for second with 13 victory points, is Jaimin and the first opponent. And then the last opponent comes last. Opponent 3 comes last.
Very
And
nice.
with these games, you have managed to qualify for if you win the next game, you'll go to finals.
Oh, fantastic. Well, it seems
As
like we're doing pretty well then.
your match MMR is high enough that you're pushing through, and you're really, especially maybe it's even your foreignness that's pushing you to reach that next level of success.
How's
However,
Jaimin doing?
he is he's still in that same game, but he needs to win the game in order to pass on to the finals.
Right, so
He
ultimately it
does not
becomes
win,
one of
he's
us or
out.
the other then.
Yeah. For
So,
you, if you place highly in that game, you can still go to the finals without winning.
okay. So, Jaimin, do you want to just try to see how hard you can win, or do you want to try to buff us up just to ensure that we have the highest ranking possible?
I'm in it to win it. What are we
Yeah, I
talking
thought
about?
so. Hey, sometimes I just gotta ask, you want to be clandestine with us?
No, I didn't
Want to
go
rig
in.
the game?
I didn't go in to intimidate other people. I'm not going into. I'm just playing the game, man.
You've actually been doing surprising well for relying entirely off of just your book knowledge of this. You have no presence at all to imprint upon anyone. You have no idea what tactics are. You don't talk to anyone. And you definitely never really fight. Well, you don't have fighting anyway. But
He's
you're
just like,
pulling it off, which is hilarious.
this would be the best thing to theoretically do. I'll do it. Scoots the guy forward.
A playstyle rooted entirely in theory alone.
You
No
guys
practice.
never watched The Gamers, right?
No, I don't think so.
The gamers?
Yeah. Because
No.
there's the second movie, second sequel rather, is one where they go to a card game tournament, which is basically a big joke play on the not Legend of the Five Rings.
Right.
And there's this one guy there who's building decks. Like, he's got like 25 decks in front of him, and he's playing them all against one another because he's built the decks of his opponents, and he's also built his own decks. He's trying to figure out which decks will be the best. And people try to talk to him. He's like, "Get away from me. That's me. I'm just sitting out there playing every possibility, trying to come up with the most optimal deck to win every game."
Chime in. What are you doing with your 2002 card deck there? Are you sure you can reasonably shuffle that in in a fair amount of time? Oh, right. You have psychic powers. Of course you can. Do you need help carrying it, though?
That's
It
how
actually fits perfectly well in his cup holder. So it
Well,
is the halfway point. I was going to say we should
Mhm.
take a 5-minute break and use the bathroom or grab some water if you need it.
All right. 5-minute break. I do need some water, I think. So I'll be right back, everybody.